Hi there, Rene Jorgensen from Coinvance here, and in this video I want to talk about a topic called the Contrarian. So I want to talk about cryptocurrency as the Contrarian, going against the stream, being a first mover, and also how this crypto can bring you personal and financial freedom. So yeah, let's look at it. So Contrarian, a person that takes a contrary position or attitude. Also we have in what we can see here, I guess if we can get it moving here, we've got in politics, we say it is a politician who likes to disagree with other people and express opinions that are unpopular, right? So unpopular is probably a good way to see crypto right now. We can see here we have, I just want to play a little bit of a clip here from, this is in the U.S., the Armed Services Committee, and this is Elizabeth Warren.
This poses to our national security, as both of you have previously
and she's basically talking about how crypto is used by North Korea to fund their nuclear program. So crypto is responsible for nuclear danger with North Korea. So here we go.
6% of North Korea's entire economy and as much as a quarter of their annual defense budget. You know, that is a lot of weapons that North Korea is able to build and fire off, paid for by crypto crime. In fact, let's put this in terms of missiles. Admiral Aquilino, help me out here. Do you know how many?
Let's shut her off here. I think we heard enough from her. Basically, what she's trying to paint is really the picture that crypto is dangerous. It's only used by criminals and money launderers and of course dangerous terrorists now, right? So we should really ban it. We should really shut it down. Of course, that's really probably a little bit funny because she's supposed to be a Democrat and I thought she was supposed to be against the rich, against Wall Street. What was her original position when she ran for senator? I have to think it was something about the rich being bad and going against Wall Street, right? But in this case, crypto is really changing the whole system, right? We're basically looking at a replacement of the financial system as we know it. It is the future of money, it's digital money, and it's going to change the financial system completely, right? And so you could actually say that she's actually helping Wall Street here, right? Because she's trying to shut something down that's going to be a threat to the way things work already, right? But of course, it has already been embraced by many. We now have the ETFs. This is where I wanted to start. I just wanted to first just say that she's actually factually wrong here. People that think crypto is the main source of illegal activity, it's not really true. It's really cash, right? So this is the US Treasury here. And they tell us that criminals, they actually like cash-based money laundering because it brings anonymity, right? Cash has there's no identity connected to cash, right? This is actually a little bit of a misunderstanding. Most people don't understand what Bitcoin, what cryptocurrency is. It's based on the blockchain. The blockchain is a ledger that keeps record. It keeps score of each transaction forever. And nobody can hack it or change it, right? So if you really wanted to cover your tracks as a criminal, you wouldn't want to use the blockchain because and they're now training more and more people being detectives and tracing accounts and everything. But if somebody really wants to trace where the money came from, they could actually do so a lot easier in crypto than they would be, for instance, in cash. And that's also why the facts, and this is the US Treasury too, the facts are that cash is the #1 form of money laundering, criminal activity and everything, right? So really this scare tactic here that we hear from Elizabeth Warren is just absolute total bullshit, right? It's a scare tactic, right? Of course, you could say that crypto actually is going to benefit a lot of people in the middle class. A lot of people now have an opportunity to come in to the financial system and to gain a lot from crypto, and therefore she's going against her own voters, pretty much, right? I'm sure there's a lot of Democrats that actually are into crypto. So what we're also seeing now, lobbying is increasing. More and more crypto companies are starting to lobby politicians. More and more people become involved in crypto, and therefore this kind of crusade against crypto, which is now mainstream through the ETFs that were approved in January, this crusade against crypto, this is just really, it's really gonna fall apart very soon. That's definitely what I feel where we are right now, right? Because really what we see here is, and this is funny also, the quote, you might have heard it, first they ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, and then you win, right? So right now we're in the fighting stage, and we're very soon we're going to come to the win. So we have EFT approvals. BlackRock, the biggest investment firm, private capital firm in the world, has turned to a crypto ETF. Larry Fink, CEO, says it's a flight to safety. Bitcoin is a flight to quality. It's basically digital gold, right? So we really have, we're coming of age now. We're really getting to a place where crypto is becoming mainstream. It's becoming accepted. And this is really what I want to show you here with the adoption curve. We have been in the early adopters. 4 or 5 years ago when I started, I was probably in that group. But where we are now is now we're coming into to the early majority, and that's really where I think we are. We're here right now. We just crossed in maybe in January, February, when the ETFs were approved, because now everybody has access, right? And we really saw the launch of the ETFs as being the most successful ETFs in history. So there is really extreme interest, extreme demand for crypto. And that's just going to continue, right? So we're going to ride this way all the way to the top. Hopefully, this top will be, let's have 1 or 2 bull runs more. The next bull run, we're just starting a bull run now. It's going to be the next 12 months, maybe 16 months, 18 months if we're lucky. And then we're going to have another bull run because of the halving, the 4 years. We're going to have another bull run in 2028. So hopefully we have 2 more big bull runs before we hit the top here, and then we'll see where the market is once everybody is on board, right? And we get into the late majority, and then we'll see where we are then, right? So yes, this is the point, right? I was trying to say I would have said, if I was able to talk to Elizabeth, I would tell her, and I would actually tell her that her voters, they actually might be interested in this product, right? Because this is really what we see here. 2023, out of 40 wealth classes, Bitcoin is the best performing. And here you see it, right? Year to date, 2023 asset class returns, Bitcoin at the top, 60% return. I've actually seen other studies where it's more than 150%. There are some average returns year over year, the last 5 years, that's about 150% on average. So I actually think this one is a little bit under. But the point is, as you can see here, that Bitcoin is number 1, right? You have the only competitor would probably be here 28%, so those would be large cap stocks. I'm guessing here the stock market is here 12%, so I think I've seen some studies where tech stocks are about 28% here. So I think tech, the magnificent 7, the tech stock can probably, that's probably your second best bet, but even that is only half of what Bitcoin is. The returns are only half from the best performing stocks in the whole market, in a traditional market. Bitcoin crypto performs more than double of that, right? So that really tells you kind of what this opportunity is, what it really is. This is really by being early adopter, early majority now, you can actually gain, right? Being the first mover, send the same principle. Any new market, any new technology, if you're first online, you have a business online before everybody else, first on Google, there you go, now you're winning, right? So really early adopter here is really what's important, right? And you can also see here we have cash is 3.8%, which is actually not completely true, because if you take the money printing, the inflation, it's closer to real inflation is about 14-15%. So you see, to stay ahead, stocks will keep you ahead, but some of these others, you will still lose money, right, because of inflation, right? So you really have to keep up with the change here that's happening. And then I wanted to show this article, talking about this topic, currency debasement. It is actually not a conspiracy theory. It has happened many times in history. Shakespeare talks about the king himself will be a clipper, and of course he's referring to Emperor Nero in the Roman Empire here, who literally they cut their gold and silver coins. They cut off and then they melted it into new coins. So they reduced the size of their coins until they were like nothing, right? And of course, you think you cut off 10% of the gold or the silver, and then you have that extra 10%, and then you think you're increasing your wealth. But that's really not what happens. What happens is that you debase the currency, and that then collapses in the end. So if we look at what's really going on with inflation, money printing, and if we look at where the debt is going, the US debt is now so high that they need to print money just to pay the interest, right? So this is why people that are now understanding it, of course, everybody who's been in the space for a long time, they understand Bitcoin cannot be inflated because there's 21 million coins and there will never be more coins, and therefore you cannot inflate it, right? So inflation is not possible in that sense. You cannot debase Bitcoin in that sense, right? So this is really a really important point, and that's also why people that are now have turned, there were a lot of haters, and the traditional financial system, Jamie Dimon is still, he doesn't like it still, right? Compares it to smoking cigarettes, and like Elizabeth Warren, it's only for criminals and tax evaders. But Larry Fink, BlackRock now, flight to safety, it's a flight to quality, right? So this is really, it is really an asset class that if you allocate something here, you actually have something that might be able to be stable during a high inflation, like in the 70s, if we have hyperinflation again or anything like that, you have a flight to safety here. So that's really one argument why this is good. It's good for financial increase, your financial gains are high, but it's also a flight to safety, right? Which is a really, I think it's an important point in this day and time where we don't know what's actually going to happen next, what's going to happen to the debt, and how much more money are they going to print. Then another topic here I wanted to talk about here, let me just move it over here. We have this idea of boom and busts in the economy, right? So there's there's even debate whether printing money, whether that causes inflation. I think that historically, that has been proven that it does, right? It does debase the currency. That's pretty factual when you look at history. Obviously, there are debates, and it depends on who you're reading and who you're taking sides with. But I think we also need to think about how the economy works. We have the cycle, boom and bust cycle. We have 7 to 10 years boom, and then we have a 2 to 3 year bust where we correct. We just went through a correction, right? We had a soft landing. The US was a soft landing. Now we're getting out of it. The correction started at the end of 2021. That was first signs was in November. Elon Musk, billionaires starting to sell their stock, right? People knew something was up, and then in December 21 we saw where the economy was heading, right? And so, but now it's over. We've come out of it. Germany, some European countries actually went into technical recession 2 quarters, but we also, and Canada also, but the US had a soft landing. But now we're getting out of it. Now we're back to optimism again. When are we going to have more quantitative easing, right? We're all waiting for that. Crypto community as well, because we do know that the money printing is going to increase the money flow. So first we have the ETFs, and now we're going to have the quantitative easing. So that means more capital coming into assets. But it is also a little bit unfair. So this is what I wanted to address. Of course, this has been since the 80s. Reagan, Thatcher, they came up with the idea now we have to the economy has to focus on assets, right? So real estate, assets, everything, right? So we have an economy controlled by the Fed where we're focused on assets, right? So increasing the asset prices. And what that does is, of course, everybody can be a homeowner, everybody can, rise, this idea of all boats rising together. But really what the boom and bust creates is that when there is a bust, then it is the middle class. It's everybody in the middle that gets squeezed, right? So it's the mom and pop, it's the family-run businesses that go bankrupt. It is people that lose their jobs and so forth. And then what happens? Who snatches up the cheap, distressed assets? It's, of course, the big ones like BlackRock, right? So that's why we've had this change where we've seen since the 70s the real salary, real wages has been stagnant, right? Even though production has gone up, wages have been stagnant. Why is that? How is that possible? We're printing the money, we have these booms and busts, and that really means the economy is it's focused on increasing asset prices, and in the bust, the people with money, they get more assets, and therefore we in the middle, we just get we get stuck, right? So that's why I wanted to say that crypto is thereby with these growth, whether we agree it's 60, 70% or 150%, these real strong growth really can do something to somebody's investments and portfolio, right? It's really going to be a massive growth. In 4, 6, 8 years, you can really develop a substantial wealth asset from crypto, right? And that's the real value, because you're a first mover. You're the majority, early majority now, and you're going to gain from being that, right? And that's really what I want to promote here with crypto. And that's what I want to say. That's the contrarian, right? And this is also what I wanted to say here. If you can't beat them, join them, right? You know the saying. So if the rich are getting richer, if money is flowing into assets, well, then let's play the game and let's join them, right? And that's really what crypto, what it does, right? And then another thing crypto does, it also actually it promotes your personal financial freedom, but it also promotes your personal freedom as a person, right? Because now what we're seeing, we know, of course, if anybody speaks out politically at a higher level, whether it's a journalist or whether it's somebody who gains power and money, right, they always get shut down financially. But now what we saw here in Canada, we saw that it was actually truckers. I mean, I was actually there for 1 weekend personally to see what was going on, talked to a lot of truckers and saw on the ground what was happening. Quite inspirational that people actually stand up and fight for their freedom still. They haven't given up yet. Quite inspirational, but truckers, I mean, obviously, okay, you block the downtown and there's some honking and there's some noise, I get that, but truckers aren't really, they shouldn't be, a threat to national security. Here we invoked, in Canada, the War Powers Act was invoked, which then the court after found was illegal. So invoking the Emergency Powers Act was actually illegal, and thereby freezing these, it was not just the truckers that had their bank accounts frozen, it was also, a grandma who donated $100 to the cause, right? She also got her bank account frozen, right? So this really tells us that somebody at the top, right? These people, if you look at what's going on at the World Economic Forum, where Trudeau is actually a little bit of a pet, he's a pet project. You can actually see that on YouTube of the master, the leader over there. This is actually not conspiracy. He's actually part of that. He's being promoted as one of their politicians that follows their strategy, right? And they talk about literally, implementing all their rules and strategy that's going to cause some civil unrest. And what a better way to control the masses than to control their money, right? And this is really what we're looking at now. So what we have here is... this is actually the Federal Reserve, the U.S. Federal Reserve. They are proposing a fourth function of money, which is a means to social control. And of course, you could think that it sounds like China, right? Social credit system, and they will shut down your money if you do anything they don't like, right? That really sounds like China, right? And this is really what we're looking at here. And you could actually think that this article is a small newspaper, small online thing. You could actually think that maybe this is just a lie, a conspiracy theory or something. But if you click on the document here, which is actually from the Federal Reserve, right? So you actually have here all the sources, everything. And if you go down, we actually have it here, I think. Let's see. Where is the quote? Okay, it's here. But there's a fourth function of money as a means of social control. So there you have it, from the mouth of the horse, right? The U.S. Federal Reserve is actually telling us that we're now going into an age of digital money, which are programmable money, CBDCs, programmable money, and we're engaging into a future where this is going to be used as social control. Already in Canada, there's something the government is now promoting, something called open banking. They call it open banking because it's for your own benefit. Of course, any political policy is always for the benefit of the people. That's what they tell us, right? But this open banking, it gathers all your bank accounts, all your financial data in one place. So everybody can see everything about you financially in one place. And of course, then you can imagine the next step. So this is really what we have with crypto. Crypto is, you can protect it here. This is a cold storage. You disconnect it here when you're not using it. When you are using it, you are putting in your password. You're putting in your password here, and then you transfer wisely. And then when you unplug it here, and then no hacker can get to it. And also, if you keep it under your pillow or in your safe, the government can't take it from you either. They can freeze your bank account, yes, and now they want to know everything that's going on in all your bank accounts and all information. But this they cannot take, and of course, that's what they want, right? That's the freedom. They don't want us to be free. They want to be able to control us. They want to use money, digital money, as a means of social control, right? So, crypto, Bitcoin is really freedom. It's freedom. It's financial freedom, getting out of the financial structure, the way the economy has been created, boom and bust, inflation, everything, keep the middle class down. This is created to break us free of that, and it's also going to help us be free at a personal, individual level, because they cannot take this from us, right? And that's the fight. That's the good fight, and that's being the contrarian. The contrarian standing up for personal freedom and financial freedom. That is the fight. So I hope you join me. If you have any questions, you can reach out through the website, coinvance.co. Free consultation. I'm here. You can also do question and answer through YouTube on the channel. So I hope to hear from you, and thank you for today.